Hi and welcome back. In this video we will talk about the Rect Light. And this one is the most used light in production for many lighting scenarios. What makes this light more appealing is the ability to create soft shadows. So it could be used for things like windows or soft studio light boxes, like anything that demands larger square areas. So now let's create a Rect Light. Go to the Creator tab, select the light menu, and I'm going to drag a Rect Light into my scene. Currently my viewport is in unlit mode. I'm going to change it into lit mode. Let me reposition this. And you can see that the shape of the light is a square. And this is the way the light emits from. And it's a unidirectional light. Now let's explore the details panel. Pull this window a little down. Pull this upwards. The light parameters are very much similar to any other lights in UE. Additionally, we have that source width and source height parameters. So this will be help us to define the size of this area light. Now let's increase the width and height values. In general case like Maya, if you're going to increase the source width and source height, then the shadow will be turned to much more smoother. In Unreal Engine, we may need to enable a distance field shadows to get a physically accurate, ray trace shadows. You can see the difference. And now we can see that the shadows get, much more smoother according to the size of the light. Let's close this one. If I scale back this light, let me go for a value of 1. Then the shadow is getting much more sharper than before. Now let's explore other parameters. The rect light is also attached with band door settings. We have a band door angle and the band door length. A band door is basically an attachment used in stages, studios, and film lighting that allows precise control over the shape and directions of the light beam. And it consists of 2 or 4 adjustable metal flaps that are mounted across the edges of the light fixtures. These flaps can be moved or shape or block a part of the light, preventing unwanted spills and controlling the beam spread. Band door will be help us to focus the light on a specific area, preventing it from spilling onto unwanted areas. Also, by adjusting the positions of the flaps, you can create a hard or soft edges to the light beam. Additionally, it can be used to direct the light onto a particular subject or part of the scenes without affecting other areas. In Unreal, we have the band door angle and the band door length. The band door angle will be allows us to set the band door flaps position. Let me rotate this light. The band door length will be narrow down, the light and make it more target oriented. And there is a limitations like we won't be able to control each flaps separately, but that's okay for now. So if I'm going to place the window angle 90, so this light will be now act like an area light. It cover 180-degree angle. Let's reset these values. Let's make this light bigger. Another important parameter of rect light is the source texture. So in the texture slot, you will be able to connect any texture you want. Let's copy few textures. Let's create a map folder. I will drag this texture into the map folder. Select any one of this texture. And I'm going to click this icon. Use selected asset from content browser. So this will be immediately call the texture into that particular slot. So we can connect any texture you want according to your scene. Now we can see that illumination is got changed as per the texture color. Let me rotate this light. I'll move this light very close to the ground. Now we will be able to see that the texture. So it can be create any kind of light breakups like this. So we can connect any gobo texture to fake the lighting. For example, If your character is sitting in front of a television and if you want to create the same visual lights from the TV on top of your character, and the simplest way is like you can place a rect light in front of the TV, then copy the visual sequence and paste it into the source texture map, and this texture will be act like a direct light source came from TV, which all color breakups and values that will be give more sense of depth for your character. Now let me connect an HDRI map into the source texture. Let me move this light bit upward. Select this light, maybe the HDRI light studio first one. Now I'm going to grab that light into source map. Maybe I can reduce that exposure values. So whenever you're connecting an HDRI images into the source texture, it become more dynamic range lighting rather than connecting a normal color into the light color. You can also implement the temperature on top of this light. Let's move down. We have the IES texture option in the Rect Light, but I will recommend to connect in Spotlight instead of Rect Light. So if you are using Spotlight, it's much more easier to reposition your light in the scene. That's all about the Rect Light. We will continue on the next video.